Welcome to the Deering High School Open House Class of 2025. My name is Abdullahi Ahmad, and I'm one of the co-principals of Deering High School. Before I hand you over to my colleague, Ms. Dame, I want to let you know that I'll be serving double duty tonight. We are short of community parent specialists, so I will be serving as an interpreter for the Arabic speakers. I'll be back on the stage during the Q&A session. Now I'll welcome my colleague, the other co-principal, Ms. Dane.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Allison Dame, and I am one of the co-principals here at Deering. We are thrilled tonight to be able to welcome you to our school, to share what we love about Deering, and to meet you and answer your questions. We want to begin by acknowledging that we are living in extraordinary times and that it has been a busy day at Deering. Teachers met early this morning to share strategies about opening up safe spaces for dialogue here at Deering, and we're preparing a student-led school-wide dialogue for tomorrow. So we have been busy, but we've been bringing out the best of Deering, which is the ability to have these student-led discussions. I want to begin tonight by sharing the overview of what we'll be doing. So we have an opening presentation here that's about an hour. At the end, we'll share a workshop menu with links where you can take a deeper dive into some of the aspects of the school that you want to learn the most about. And then you may return here to the webinar for an optional informal Q&A with Dr. Ahmed and myself. So I'll begin by talking about our school vision. At Deering, we believe that we succeed together if everyone is valued, challenged, and empowered. We see these three things as absolutely interdependent. And as we make decisions as a school, we always put it through this lens. Will this help our students be valued, challenged, and empowered? Because we can't welcome you into our school physically this year, we've put together a short virtual tour that we hope give you some idea of our physical campus. This did work moments ago. I'll give it one more second. Welcome to Deering High School. The building you are about to see was built in 1924, but there has been a Deering High School since 1874. We are located here on 370 Stevens Avenue, in a building once chosen as Maine's most beautiful high school.
We will take you to a virtual tour.
Deering's library is a place for students to access print and online resources to work in a quiet and productive environment and try to get help on assignments that involve research.
The cafeteria is one of the school's hubs and gives students the chance to eat and socialize together before school and during lunch. It's friendly, inclusive, and there are plenty of eating options from the salad bars to pizza.
Our classrooms are welcoming, rich environments that reflect our school's diversity and our students' creativity.
Our art rooms, ceramic studio, band room, and drama space are all spaces where students can create, design, perform, and express themselves.
Every student at Deering will have a school counselor who will help them with course selection, identifying their personal interests and passions, the college process, and future planning. The school counseling office has a wealth of resources to help students develop an individualized path through their 4 years here and beyond.
In advisory, we make friends, learn about ourselves, and do service projects. Here, we are making cards to send to nursing homes.
And we'd like to welcome you to Deering High School, parents, students, and the community. I'm Michael Daly, I'm the Co-Curricular Athletic Director, and we're here outside of Deering High School, right outside our doors, and we're very lucky to have 11 expansive acres of fields and practice areas for our athletic teams, clubs, and student activities. Right now we're here on our practice fields. We have our practice baseball field. Adjacent to that are 2 practice soccer fields that sometimes we have outdoor volleyball on as well. And we're lucky enough to have an amazing tennis court facility that our tennis teams play and practice on and the community uses. And then across the way we have approximately 3,200 seats at Memorial Stadium. And it's a beautiful state-of-the-art turf field here in Portland. Playing on that field, our lacrosse teams, our soccer teams, football team. We get a lot of use of it from our track teams, and the community uses it as well. It's right outside our door here at Deering. Again, we have a campus feel for our athletic programs and fields. We're very lucky here in Portland to have that. And we hope you enjoy some of this open space for our athletic programs, sports clubs, and intramurals when you're here as a Deering Ram.
The Purple Palace, as we sometimes call it, is a special place to many. We hope you can visit in person soon.
We will be honored if you choose to join us next year.
Welcome to Deering High School. Okay, welcome back. So, as we said in the video, we very much look forward to welcoming you into our actual building sometime soon. But we hope that gave you some sense of what it feels like to be in our building. I'll begin now by talking about what it actually means for us to have a school where students are valued, challenged, and empowered. We start by building a supportive 9th grade team. 9th grade at Deering is designed to be a close-knit experience that helps students with the transition to high school. We recognize that this is a crucial and critical year, and we really put a lot of thought and energy into making it a very successful year for students. We have a dedicated wing of our building with welcoming classrooms and their built-in supports right nearby. We have a 9th grade advisory curriculum that builds community, builds friendships, and explicitly teaches the skills needed for succeeding in high school. Our 9th grade teachers meet weekly to monitor progress and make sure no one is falling through the cracks. And we offer right off the bat opportunities for students to start to excel in AP and advanced courses. At the end of this presentation, one of the workshops you'll have an opportunity to attend if you wish is the 9th grade experience, where we'll talk in more depth about how we help all 9th graders succeed in this critical year. A couple other ways that we have designed systems to make sure students feel valued is our advisory system. Every student has a supportive adult and a peer community that serves as a home base for them. We'll talk a little bit more about advisory. But this is a place where not only do they learn the skills that will help them in high school, but they really have a chance to talk about engaging and relevant topics of the day and grow as in their dialogue skills as well. We also make a real effort to listen to students and take their feedback seriously. Student voice is built into everything we do. I've put a little image here of a regular survey that we do. When we set school goals, every 2 months we do survey students to see, are we making progress on those goals? Here you can see a survey where over 60% agreed that there are multiple and varied ways for students to learn about, take on, and practice leadership. We create clubs and activities to support all types of students. And when we monitor, are all students using clubs and activities? If we see a group that's not, we create spaces that will really engage them and that they'll want to be a part of. We've recently created a Black Student Union, a Muslim Student Association, and in addition to all other sports, We created esports, which attracted a different type of student that might not have done athletics. We were state champions in our first year of our esports team. Finally, around valuing students, we work to create a curriculum that represents everyone with dignity. At Deering, we recognize the traditional canon has sometimes left some students marginalized, misrepresented, or left out. So we make a real effort to lift up the contributions of women and people of color in our courses and encourage critical dialogue with the content. Moving now to how do we make sure students are challenged? We have 16 AP courses, again, starting in the 9th grade. We make it as easy as possible and think about our programming so that students have access to USM and SMCC. This term, we have 62 students taking courses at local colleges. We also offer a wealth of co-curricular experiences, such as our debate team, our robotics team, the ability not only to present in drama, but also stage tech, building sets and lighting, our studio art class, and many, many more. We'll make this slideshow available and you'll be able to see our full list of clubs and activities. We are driven by the belief, the Portland Public Schools belief about learning, that all learners can achieve at high levels with the right support. And for that reason, we expose all 9th graders to grade level material. In other words, there are no remedial classes at the get-go. We spend as much resources, time, energy, collaboration in order to make sure that all students have access to the content they need to be ready, truly ready and prepared for college or a meaningful career. We are proud to call ourselves a Challenge by Choice school. And what that means to us is that students are encouraged to take honors and AP classes when they feel ready. They won't be held back by previous failures or a lack of prerequisites. We want people to make an ambitious choice when they're ready, and we're prepared to support them. We offer the STEM endorsement and the seal of biliteracy so that students build the critical 21st century skills they need for jobs. And finally, I'll turn to how do we make sure students are empowered. So we look very carefully at how our clubs and extracurriculars and co-curriculars, as well as our classes, are building in spaces for leadership, all different types of leadership, so that students can have memories where they really look back and saw that they were at the driver's wheel and created something important and meaningful for their communities and in their communities. A couple examples are our Seeds of Peace chapter, which, by the way, is leading the way of our student-led discussion on current events tomorrow, our Model UN program, and the Can We project, which asks people with differing beliefs to come together and have dialogue with one another. We've changed in the past few years the structure of our student government so that each class has its own Senate, and there's opportunities to build those leadership skills right from the beginning. We leapt from about 24 to over 60 students involved by changing the structure and giving everyone a chance to participate. We also connect and partner with community organizations like Youth Empowerment Portland and CIEE to give students access to transformative experiences where they really become the new versions of themselves. Here you have a picture of one of our recent alums on a trip to Morocco where he got to ride a camel through CIEE. And we also, I want to say, work really hard with CIEE to garner scholarships so that all students have access to those programs. As I said before, it's an explicit goal of our advisory program to help students find their personal leadership style. We recognize that's different for everyone, and to not only know that they matter, but also to have real experiences where they see how they can make an impact in their communities and discover their value as engaged citizens. Here we have some of our National Honor Society students standing on Students' Ave and encouraging Portland residents to vote. Also, we open up spaces for students to advocate for change, and we take their voices seriously. I'm sorry, I'll get the lights. Last year, after the George Floyd protests, we knew we needed to do something in response to Black Lives Matter. So we met with our students, and on their short list of what they wanted was more African American history in our programming. So we were able to partner with USM on a dual credited African American history course. And I'm proud to say, because of the TA working with our Deering students, the Deering student GPA in that course was higher than the USM's average GPA. So we're super proud of the work our students are doing in that course. So what's the result of creating a school where everyone feels valued, challenged, and empowered? We're really excited. Every year, we're so excited about what our students are able to do. And this year is no different. We've just had a really encouraging stream of acceptances to a number of really excellent schools. And we're very excited about what these students will go on to do next. We're going to move in a moment to some testimonials from our teachers and students and parents. But before we do, just a few more technical aspects of our school. So we do have a 4x4 schedule. So somewhat similar to college, you'll be taking 4 courses in the fall and then a totally different 4 courses in the spring. This allows us, students have a greater focus on a smaller number of subjects at one time. The longer blocks do allow for more project-based work. And students who are very interested in particular subjects can take 2 courses in that subject in a single year. So for example, you could take your English 11 and then your AP Literature all in 1 year. In addition, we have advisory twice a week and learning center time every day, which is a flexible time that students can use for what they need the most support in or for enrichment activities in their favorite subjects. A brief word about grading. Our grading is really driven by our values. So we value giving specific and actionable information. We believe that the point of the grade is to help the student know what they understand and what they need to do next. It's always very frustrating when someone just gives you a judgment, but you don't know how to make yourself better. And so we want usable information. So we do use a 100-point grade scale, but it's aligned to proficiency-based rubrics. That means a student can take their score and go look at a document and say, this is why I received this score, and this is the specific things I would need to do to get a better score. We also value persistence and practice. So we weight advanced coursework to acknowledge the extra work, and we give students who are willing to put in extra practice a chance to retake and demonstrate new learning. Again, we believe all of our students are learning in motion, and none of us should be judged by a single moment. So when a student struggles with something and then works really hard to get better, we're always gonna give them credit for their high mark that they made on that. And then we recognize the importance of preparedness and engagement. So we do record howls, which are habits of work and learning. However, they don't impact the transcript grade. These are most useful when having conversations with students and families about why a student might be struggling, and it can just be an aspect of the conversation. I'm now hoping to turn it over to Mr. Daly, but Nanette, I may need your help promoting Michael Daly to the webinar.
Okay.
There we are. Thank you, Allison. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. I'm Mr. Daly. I'm the Co-Curricular Director at Deering High School. That means I oversee all clubs and activities and athletics. And hopefully out on our fields, as you saw, usually there's not that much snow that we get to experience and use those wonderful fields and facilities. We have 26 varsity athletic programs, 44 total athletic teams. That would involve JV and first team. We have 2 unified sports teams, and one of them will be new this spring, Unified Bocce. 42 clubs and co-curriculars for our student activities. So we're very lucky. Our students here are very much engaged and involved. More than 50% are involved in athletics. Almost 60-70% are involved in a club or activity. So we want the Deering students here to be involved, engaged, and really have exceptional experiences outside of the classroom. As you'll find out tonight, they're going to have exceptional experiences inside the classroom with our staff and teachers. Our goal is to have 100% involvement and participation in all clubs and activities for every single student. So we're looking for every student to be involved in at least one club activity or athletic endeavor. And that really goes hand in hand with the Portland Promise. That's how Deering delivers on the Portland Promise in terms of the whole student. For co-curriculars, you really focus on the whole student, developing leadership, their health and wellness, especially now, social, emotional learning and connections, and life skills to make them better people so they can go on and succeed after Deering, whether it's their next educational endeavor or in the work world. We also have state champions here. So we've had success, even though, we compete in a very competitive SMA conference and in Maine. Our debate team has been state champions. Esports, as Allison said, won the state championship this fall, and Nordic Ski 2 years ago was the state champions. I think as you'll find tonight, the Deering difference is really the people, and I hope you enjoy meeting those people tonight. If you're interested in learning more about co-curriculars or athletics, my workshops with coaches and advisors and students will go from 7 to 8. There are 3 different ones. And then from 8 to 8:30, I'll be available for Q&A for co-curriculars and athletics under the same Zoom link. So if you're looking for me for Q&A at 8 o'clock, it's that same Zoom link for our workshops. I hope you have a great virtual visit to Deering. The Rams are rising. We want you to think purple and come rise with us. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daly. So we wanted a chance for you to hear from all the members, all the different types of members of our community, I should say. And so we're pleased to present one of our terrific teachers, Miss Schaibles, and then we'll have also some Deering parents and some Deering students to share their perspective as well. So Nanette, once again, can I ask for your help promoting Karen Schaibles?
All right, I think I'm all set.
Oh, great. Hi,
Yeah.
Ms. Schaibles.
So good evening. My name is Karen Schaibles, and in addition to being a longtime science teacher at Deering, I'm also a Deering grad, as well as the parent of a current 11th grader. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about 3 aspects of academic excellence that make Deering unique. You'll be able to hear the specifics about different subject areas when you attend the breakout sessions that follow. But for now, let me explain why I believe in the excellence of a Deering education. So first up is the Deering schedule you heard a little bit about from Ms. Dame. The flexibility of our semester-based block schedule provides Deering students the opportunity to meet local and state requirements while extending themselves in academic areas which they may be interested in pursuing in the future, as well as the opportunity to simply explore new areas of study. Our schedule allows for students to participate in up to 32 different courses over their high school careers. From anatomy and physiology to environmental science, from Spanish to Arabic, from ceramics to SketchUp, from psychology to comparative government and politics. Students have multiple opportunities to explore a wide variety of subjects and to dive deeper into those areas of personal strength and interest. Our semester schedule is similar to that of colleges, where students focus on 4 classes at any given time, instead of 6 or 7. The schedule we follow also allows our students to attend vocational programming at paths somewhat seamlessly, choosing to be on campus for the first half of the day or the second half. Next, Deering offers more advanced placement courses than any other school in the city of Portland. Many of our current 9th graders, as you've heard already, are enrolled in AP Human Geography. And it's not uncommon to find 10th graders studying AP US History or maybe AP Statistics. And our upper level students may be studying AP Literature, AP Biology, AP Computer Science, and more. Students are encouraged to challenge themselves in courses which are taught by talented and passionate and supportive educators. And finally, I'd like to tell you about the early college options available to Deering students. Among the city schools, Deering has the highest percentage of students enrolled at USM and SMCC. We have close ties to both of those institutions, and we actively encourage students to take advantage of the opportunity to enroll in college courses while at Deering. In addition to helping students transition to college, they're able to earn transferable college credits. It's our intention to prepare all students for their future, and this early college option is one of the many ways that we can do that. Our limited time tonight prevents me from sharing more from my own personal list of all that is good about Deering, the unique aspects of Deering's academic program, the many opportunities it provides, and the dedicated faculty are enough to make Deering the first choice for me, for my family, and for my students. I hope that you and your family find these opportunities valuable as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Schaibles. I'm going to pause here to remind all speakers to speak slowly and to take pauses. And thank you again to our interpreters. I'd now like to introduce Sean and Amy Denneker, the parents of a current sophomore.
Good evening, everybody. Talking slowly is not my strong suit, so I will do my best. Sean and Amy Denneker, our daughter Eliza is a 10th grader at Deering. We're gonna just cover a few of the reasons why when we did this live and in person last academic year, our daughter chose Deering, and just take you through some of the things as we've transitioned to what certainly has been a difficult year for teachers, students, administration, and what we think about the job that Deering has done. So for us, I think the initial introduction in the auditorium to Ms. Dame and Dr. Ahmed was a really positive experience. They were very welcoming, and it was pretty clear early on that they were really focusing on building a real community within the school. We had an opportunity to hear from graduates of Deering, and we just got a good feeling that they were really dedicated to, in what was their first year as, I guess, interim co-principals, learning how to work together, and came across with a really positive message. And transitioning to this academic year, we've been really impressed with the proactive contact, and without, at least for me, not having any concept of how difficult the summer must have been with contingency upon contingency plans for what this academic school year might actually look like. Everything has been, I think, done as well as you could have asked in the environment that we're in. So now that we're in year 2 of the co-principal situation, we're really pleased with the coordination and the communication that's been coming to us as parents from the principals.
We've had an excellent experience with the guidance department, and everything from short-term scheduling questions semester to semester to longer-term career and college planning, and a willingness to kind of look ahead with the children, students. Our daughter's only a sophomore, but they've done a lot of work with us to try and plan ahead already for her future. As many people have said, and I think we can attest to as parents as well, the schedule is an excellent opportunity for students to really focus in. That's definitely been the case for our daughter, to have 4 classes at once where she can really hone her skills on a particular topic, and offering the opportunity to take so many classes and follow her interests as she grows and learns more about what she wants to do. The level and variety of courses offered from the get-go is also amazing. Our daughter was able to take an AP class freshman year, and they really do kind of meet the students where they are and find a way to help them grow from that. We've been very impressed with the rigor and the engagement of the teachers that Eliza has had. And also, I think, very impressed with all of the ways that she's been able to get involved with her school. She's not someone who loves athletics, but Mr. Daly is always great about saying he's the co-curricular administrator, and I think that really comes through for the kids who aren't athletes but still want to be involved. So it's been, I think we're very privileged in Portland to have the choice of schools, and we've been very, very happy with our choice.
And Mr. Daly, is it room 218? Do I remember that from a year and a half ago correctly?
218, you got it right.
Yeah, so go to 218 for stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean and Amy. I'm going to now share my screen for 2 video messages from 2 of our students before we hear a couple live accounts as well. Apologize for the slow load times. All right, get ready, Anya. I might be bouncing to you if this doesn't work. Try one more. Thank you for your patience. Okay, I'm going to move now to Anya Frank, one of our sophomores. And like I said before, we'll share this presentation so you'll have access to those videos at the end of the presentation. All right, take it away, Anya.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anya Frank, and I'm a sophomore here at Deering. I want to talk specifically to the students watching this. What got me through the tough transition from middle school to high school was joining sports teams and clubs, having the support from my school, family, friends, and community. The Deering community has made me feel safe, heard, and empowered, and continues to do so. I encourage all of you to pick a school that makes you feel these things and more. A school that challenges you to find yourself. A school that inspires you and uplifts you. A school where you have undeniable support. Every school is so unique in its own way, but it's truly us that make it that way. It's crucial to pick a school you truly love. Not a place who feels forced and impacted by the opinions and judgments of others. Deering is that school for me. In the next 4 years of your life, I challenge you to stun the world. Stand out, speak out. I want to hear what you have to say. Your voice matters. At Deering, your voice will matter like mine does. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Anya. I'm sorry, I'm just going to introduce you. Next up is Molly Campbell.
Hi, everyone. My name is Molly, and I'm a sophomore here at Deering. It was scary for me to think that as an 8th grader, I would have to leave my private school at the end of the year and attend Deering High School. I knew no one here and hadn't been in the public school system since 3rd grade. Everything was going to be a learning process that I wasn't sure I was ready for. The more I took time to actually look into and learn about Deering and its values and standards, the more I realized that I was going to love it here. From the sports to the academics and education and everything in between, Deering is a community I will never regret becoming a part of. Deering has so much to offer. Volleyball and basketball have taught me how to be a part of a team that is bigger than myself. Both sports taught me how to find my weaknesses and work to make them my strengths. The coaches that I have had the honor to be coached by are one of my motivations, and they have always been there for me. Staff, such as the athletic director, Mr. Daly, and the athletic trainer, Mr. Tozy, and all of the teachers here at Deering are major supports to all the students. The teachers here at Deering are a huge part of the school and community. They always put the students first and will never pass up an opportunity to teach, support, motivate, and help improve the lives of the students. They make the classes fun and exciting, even on Zoom. Even though we are going through a pandemic, the teachers have stayed calm, yet worked so hard to make things seem as close to normal as they can. They truly have done so much for our students. In the end, Deering isn't just a school, it's a community. As your high school decision process begins, remember that everyone at Deering wants to work together as a team, a family, to help each and every one of you succeed. And we aren't afraid to do whatever it takes to help you become successful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Anya and Molly. I'm going to now return to our presentation. So the plan for the rest of the evening, and I will correct these times since we're a little bit ahead of schedule, is that you have the option to choose 3 workshops, and each workshop will run 3 times in a row. So if you should choose whichever 3 you're most interested in. If you're really interested in more than 3, we're thrilled with that. And I've put the organizer on the menu with their email. So simply email them and we'll be more than happy to be in touch with you. If you would like to continue to have an interpreter, just stay here. We'll run 3 of our most popular workshops here, and so you'll have that interpretation. If at any time you become lost or confused, return here, ask your question in the chat, and we'll help you out. Okay, the final thing I need to tell you is that the menu you received yesterday does not have the Zoom links. I will put the menu with the Zoom links here now, and we're doing that to just keep the Zoom secure. So I'm now adding to the chat the workshop menu. Please just cut and paste this link somewhere where you'll have it safe. We'll begin our first workshop at 6:50, and I'll edit the times on that menu I just gave you to reflect that. After the end of the 3rd workshop, you can either return here for an informal Q&A with Dr. Ahmed and myself, or go to Mr. Daly's workshop Zoom in order to learn more about athletics and co-curriculars. And feel free to shift between those 2 if you wish. Again, we're so thrilled you were able to join us tonight. It's a pleasure to be able to show off what we love about our school, and we'd be honored if you considered Deering. All right, we'll be here if you have questions, but please go ahead and take a look at the menu and choose your first workshop. Again, we'll begin those at 6:50.
Allison, it looks like we're having trouble finding the links to the workshops. Can you help us find those?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm just going to repost what I just posted.
I did not see links on what you just posted.
Oh, uh-oh. Okay, sorry everyone. Workshop menu with links.
I now see links for workshops 1 and workshops 2 and 3 for each of them. So if you are looking for a link to join, you should be able to see it there.
Yep, and interpreters, please just stick around here. We'll have our first workshop here. Okay. So I'll now begin. Oh, sorry.
Which workshop will we be seeing, Allison?
Okay, the first workshop that we'll be seeing here in the webinar is the 9th grade experience at Deering. So as I mentioned in the opening presentation, we see 9th grade as a critical year, and we work hard to make sure that it's a successful year. We emphasize a caring community, engaging academics, and turning students on to an exciting path forward for themselves, helping them create a future orientation and something they're excited to pursue. So for tonight during this workshop, we'll first introduce you to the 9th grade teaching team, speak briefly about why 9th grade is so important, talk about how we build community. The academics, 9th graders are introduced to co-curricular activities and 9th grade. So here's a look at our 9th grade teaching team. Of course, they're even more adorable in real life, but it's a dynamic, fun-loving, and kid-loving group. Krista, can I ask you to check if Miss Beck is here and promote her if possible? So why is 9th grade important? First, the bad news. 9th grade has been considered a bottleneck. Students, of course, it's a bad thing when you have a certain number of students in 9th grade and then many less students in 10th grade. That is a failure on the part of the school. And unfortunately, in the early part of this century, we were seeing that number was going up. More students were not making it out of 9th grade. So a lot of attention has been paid to why is 9th grade so difficult? And there's a lot of reasons. Developmentally, kids are still growing, but academically they're thrown into high school. We've also got some more local data to show that if students pass all their classes and are on track in 9th grade, they have over 90% a chance to graduate prepared. However, when they are off track, only about 19% of students who are off track in 9th grade graduate prepared. So that's the bad news. This is a really important year and it's possible to mess it up. Let's turn to the good news. The good news is we know what to do about it. There's been a lot of research and we can learn and we can create really strong 9th grades. What do we need to do? We need to make sure every student is known, that they feel a sense of joy and belonging at school. We need to make sure that when they begin to slip up, something's done immediately. In order for something to be done, we need to make time for teachers to talk to one another, to share ideas, to notice patterns. We need to make sure that every student is exposed to grade level content and that students who are able have access to higher level content. And we can't assume that basic school survival skills come naturally. We know that many students need to have these explicitly taught and have opportunities to practice and learn. So here, can I ask if Ms. Beck was able to make it?
Yes, I'm here, Allison.
Awesome, thank you, Rhonda. I'll hand it to you.
Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Rhonda Beck, and I'm the 9th grade dean at Deering High School. The key function of my job at Deering High School is to make sure that every student feels welcome and knows they have an adult they can go to for assistance. When I'm not greeting students in the morning, when they're coming in or at the beginning of their classes, I'm monitoring grades of students and connecting with teachers, parents and guardians, and the students themselves to assist in helping to make sure that our students are successful at Deering High School. I am a liaison between the teachers and the parents and guardians. When a teacher needs extra assistance with helping to ensure that success for students in their class. The deans meet every Friday morning and we discuss strategies and procedures in monitoring our students and building in supports to assist teachers and students. We are currently using a tracking system to work with students who are currently failing one or more classes. And we've set up individual student action plans for those students. And we're connecting those students with senior mentors and working with Mr. Chatterjee to do that. The 9th grade teachers are working extremely hard to create these student action plans. And the teachers are actually stepping up and volunteering to a coach and assist students in order to increase these grades. You will even see an English teacher stepping up or a social studies teacher stepping up to work with a student who maybe needs to improve their algebra grade. It's great being a part of this freshman team. Like Ms. Dame said, it's an awesome group of teachers. Ms. Dame, back to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Ms. Beck. So another part of how we build community is our advisory program. Students meet in advisory twice a week. And this is a place where students do learn those school survival skills in part, but they also help lead and facilitate discussion around big relevant topics. I've included some of those topics in the yellow box here. And they also work together on service projects. Recently this December, students across Deering contributed to food banks, gathered up clothing, gathered books for older students to read to their younger siblings, and as you see here, sent cards to nursing homes. and that was students chose the way in which they wanted to contribute. So as for academics in the 9th grade year, it is an important year. You are taking all your core content classes. So we have English 9 and English 9 honors. Algebra 1 is year long because those numeracy skills are so critical. And Ms. Beck, can you briefly describe AMP 9?
Yes, AMP 9 is actually an accelerated Algebra 2 class that we offer at Deering High School. We are currently using the illustrative math curriculum, and I believe we're the only high school that actually is using that curriculum for Algebra 1, geometry, and for the AMP 9, for the Algebra 2 class. So it definitely, I like the program that it goes, it's more inquiry based and more exploration than most high schools teach these courses. And it's great. The kids have really enjoyed it, and they're getting right in there and not only learning how to do the process that we teach them, but they're learning how to do it as we actually tackle a real life problem.
Thanks. For science, we have earth science honors, and for a small number of students who are ahead, biology as well. And for social studies, we have world civilizations and AP human geography. In both cases, there's a global emphasis, an emphasis on global patterns and trends. And then for electives, 9th graders have access to art, music, phys ed, and then our languages, which are Arabic, French, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. If you'd like to know more about the particular subjects, our cluster coordinators or department heads will be going in a lot more depth in their workshops. So please feel free to either go to those workshops or reach out to the organizers. So we wanted to take a moment to explain, why don't we have pre-algebra or, literacy skills? And there is a reason. We really work hard to use all the resources we have available to us, our time, collaboration with one another, researches around best practice, and then our own inquiry cycles to create excellent and supportive instruction at grade level. We know that, and I know these slides are hard to read, but compared to classrooms where most students are students of color, classrooms with mostly white students receive 3.5 times more grade appropriate lessons. Compared to classrooms with primarily low-income students, classrooms with more affluent students tend to receive 5.4 times more grade appropriate lessons. Of course, if students never are exposed to grade level content, they will never learn it. And so it's a mission of ours to make sure that all students have access to the content they need to graduate prepared and empowered for college or a meaningful career. We wanted to give you a glimpse inside some of our classrooms. So here's just a few examples. This fall, our earth science classes got outside to measure the distance to stars using parallax. In our AP human geography, I don't know if you can see the plexiglass, but we pulled out all the stops of PPE or safety equipment in order for our students to continue to access some of the best parts of that class. Here they are actually being the Committee on Genocide Prevention during our political organization of space unit. And then finally, you can see there a selection of some of the art projects our 9th graders have been doing this fall. We wanted to emphasize that it's our goal to get 9th graders involved across the school in all activities right from the get-go. One of my favorite moments of the year was meeting with class presidents of the 10th and 12th grade. And I asked them, what have you done to recruit 9th graders? Are we making sure the spaces are welcoming for our 9th graders? And they told me, Miss Dame, they're already here. We didn't have to do anything. So this 9th grade class has been awesome at getting involved. On the left here, we have 2 of our 9th graders participating in the fall play this year. Our co-presidents, we're very proud. They're modeling the co-principal model in their student senate. And if you look at all our athletic team and club rosters, you'll see 9th grader names 141 times. Now, some of those are repeats, but we're still happy with the participation level of this year's 9th graders. Sorry, this is the end of our slide. So at this time, we'll take any questions.
We've had a question about taking languages that are not offered, for example, sign language, and a question about when the school day begins and ends.
Okay, so the first question, Portland High School actually does offer ASL, which is very cool. Now, in some cases, we do host one another's students if they want to take a particular unique class, and scheduling allows for that. For example, recently we offered AP Spanish, and it was a mixed group of Deering and Portland students. Also, students who have wanted to take a different language, our counselors have really worked hard to use area resources such as SMCC and USM in order to get them access to content, whether it be languages or anything else that's not offered here. As for the start and end times, this year, because of COVID, we've moved to, it's an odd schedule, but 9:30 to 12:30 for our courses. And then we of course have Learning Center until 3:30. So we can't predict the future of whether that will snap back to an earlier start next year or whether we'll continue with this, but that will be something we would discuss with the district. Again, this year's late schedule was a direct response to certain COVID logistics. If I'm looking at the right questions, there are some questions about sports and football. Oh, that Mr. Daly seems to have answered. Oh, I see, I'm on the wrong tab. Yeah, Krista will tell you, can you take more than one language in 9th grade? Sure, if there's room in your schedule, absolutely. And there would usually be room in the schedule for more than one elective. So. How many 9th graders matriculated this fall? Our 9th grade class is just over 200. And we will follow the state guidance around vaccinating students for coronavirus. How big is the advisory group? Typically about 15 students. We try to keep them no bigger than that. Oh, I missed this question. What happens if you fall behind in schoolwork? So there's a lot of things. One is, as I mentioned earlier, if you are willing to do more practice and show that you've improved, then you can redo an assignment. Even if it was a missed assignment, you can have another shot at that assignment. Also, this year, we instituted what we call Frost School, borrowing from Casco Pay, which are some days where we stop with new content and we really provide an opportunity for reteaching in a new way and additional practice and additional chances to show that you understand. During those frost school, if students are excelling or ahead, we offer enrichment activities as well, so they have things to do. Sports do not cost money. There may be some costs involved, like your physical, but you should definitely speak to Mr. Daly because he will do everything in his power to get every student involved in sports, whatever it takes. All right, I'm going to let you go and we'll begin our next workshop at 7:15. Again, if you would like interpretation, just stay right here and we'll have a presentation from our guidance office coming up.
The next presentation is from the Deering High School Guidance Department, and they'll tell you a little bit about what their job is and what you can expect from your school counselors. First up, we have Miss Moore. And just give us a second to set up the presentation. And for Miss Moore and Miss Heselton, a reminder I just forgot is to make sure we are speaking slowly and taking pauses for our interpreters.
And hold on tight while I just get myself ready. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. Hold on, I'm almost there. Okay. Again, my apologies for some of the technological difficulties here. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tracy Moore. I'm one of the school counselors. And Miss Heselton is here with me, and she is another one of the 4 counselors at Deering High School. This slide shows that at our school, we have 4 counselors. Every student in high school, grades 9 through 12, has a counselor that is assigned to them. And the 4 counselors that are here are me, Tracy Moore, Asia Alexis, Libby Heselton, and Frosty Cherry. And each of us, the caseloads of students are divided among us by student last name. We also have 2 amazing secretaries, Miss Simonis and Miss Smith. And the 2 secretaries, when you call the guidance office, or if your student comes into the guidance office, they are usually the first people that your kids will see or that you'll get on the line, and they are extremely helpful to getting you to the person that you need or to answer any question that you might have. So it's a really friendly, open, welcome office. The mission of the school counseling office is to help students understand themselves and develop meaningful goals to meet their potential and contribute to a global environment. We do this by helping students in 3 general areas, and those areas are working with kids on their academic progress over the 4 years that they're here. We help them develop their dreams and create tangible goals toward life after graduation from Deering. And the other thing that we do that's extremely important, last but not least, is we support social emotional learning. We encourage health, balance, and personal well-being among students, which is hugely important during this time. It's important as counselors that you understand that we have a developed curriculum that we deliver to students by in classroom. During normal times, we would go to the classroom. Right now, it's virtually. The curriculum that we deliver doesn't just come up because we make it up. We use American School Counseling Association standards in creating our and delivering our curriculum. And we want you to know that because it's data-based and we use best practices in trying to support students from the counseling perspective. The 4 standards we're working on with students this year are decision-making, relationship building, self-awareness, and career and life roles. Some examples of lessons that the guidance office has provided to students this year have included an empathy lesson that went out to all grades 9 through 12 this year, which was well received since we all need lessons in empathy, as well as how to take care of ourselves and others during difficult times, and who are the resources at Deering that you can go to get support. We also just did lessons with upperclassmen on what colleges are looking for when they accept students, what are the qualities that they're looking for, and then even more importantly, we had a second part to that presentation that asks students what you should be looking for when you're researching colleges. And coming up, we will be doing a personality type assessment, kind of a Myers-Briggs assessment with sophomores, matching their personality types, because they'll do an assessment with potential college majors or very fitting career opportunities for their personality type. So those are just some examples that the guidance office does with students in the classroom. I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Heselton.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. So choosing classes is one of the things that's going to be new for most every ninth grader. Your classes are chosen for you from K to 8. Well, you get to high school and you get to start focusing on the things that really matter to you. It can be exciting and it can be overwhelming. So the guidance office spends a lot of time with students, getting to know them and getting to hear the things that matter to them in an effort to help them choose classes that are a good fit for their academic readiness and will help to develop their skills and advance their interests. One of the main differences amongst the 3 high schools is our different schedules. And at Deering, we use the 4x4 model. I think you've heard about this already from Ms. Dame and Ms. Schaibles, but it's much like the college schedule. So a student, the slide here shows just a sample schedule. A student takes 4 classes in the fall and then takes 4 new classes in the spring. Our classes meet every day in the regular school year. They meet every day for about 70 minutes. And each of the 3 high schools has a different schedule. So this is probably one of the more important decision points that you'll have to make for your current 8th grader. I'm going to tell you some benefits of the 4x4. One is that it gives you the opportunity to double up in classes. This is important for a student who is struggling in a subject. For instance, a student could take a class to improve their writing in the semester before they take the regular English class. That way they're better prepared for the regular English class and then will enjoy more success. Similarly, a student could double up because they have a class is really interesting to them and they do well in it. A student could take, for instance, could double up in math and could take Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 in the first year, geometry, and even pre-calculus by the end of their sophomore year. We have a lot of students who do this. It's an opportunity that frees up space in their junior and senior year. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. Some of the things that students do with this freed up time is to do paths. That's one of the things. And paths is the Portland Arts and Technology High School. This is a school on Allen Avenue, and they have 18 hands-on programs that are available to all of the Portland Public Schools high school students. The 4x4, like I said, frees up time or can free up time so that you can take the classes in for 2 years in your junior and senior years. It's half of the day for your junior and senior years. Another thing that a lot of Deering students do is to take classes at the colleges. And Deering has the most students taking, the highest percentage of students taking classes at the college level. This is called early college. And they go to the campus and they actually sit in the college classes with real college students. They buy their books at the bookstore. It's a real experience and it's very valuable as an orientation to college. they take classes at USM, SMCC, UMaine, Orono, and UMaine Farmington. There's also, we have a relationship with SMCC, and we have a unique program called Spring Ahead. And this is for the students, the seniors, who have completed all of their graduation requirements by the end of their fall of their senior year. And they can take 4 or 5 classes at SMCC for free. One of the classes that they take is an orientation to college. So you can see what a valuable thing this is. Students at the end of their, by graduation from high school, they have a high school transcript with 4 college classes on it. They've experienced college life, and they are that much more ready for success the year after when they're freshmen in college. All of our core classes at Deering are available, have associated AP and honors classes. And like Ms. Dame said earlier on, we have AP classes that are available even to freshmen. Right now, we've got about 50, a little more than 50 students who are taking AP Human Geography. The class is well supported, and the students love it and are super successful. So you can see that Deering is just a super exciting, nice place to be. We really care about each other, and we work hard at having our honors and AP and early college offerings available to all students with support so that they can all be successful. So thank you very much for attending this, and we would love to answer your questions.
And there are a couple questions in the chat. And can I just ask Ms. Simonis, and I know we only have about 3 or 4 more minutes. Shall I say what the question?
So we have a question about whether or not students should expect to know other people in their advisory.
Oh, that's a good question. So advisory is a program that meets twice a week. And sometimes you know kids and sometimes you don't. That's the interesting thing about high school, is that you'll have students who are coming from the 3 different middle schools. And so it could be that you have students friends in your advisory, and it might be that you make new friends in advisory.
We also have someone wondering about what grading is like at Deering High School and how it might differ from middle school and things that they've experienced before.
So we do standards-based grading. We use a 100-point scale rather than a 4-point scale. We have each of the courses, each of the subject areas has standards, and there are, like the middle school, formative assessments.
What's an example of some of the standards they might have to meet?
Well, okay, so in English, there's argument, writing an argument, presentation. I can't think of any.
So their teachers will grade them on how well they do those things?
Yes, they work, the idea, just like, and it's very similar to middle school, so the students are probably familiar with this. They present material, and then they do formative assessments to check in, are the students learning what I'm presenting? And then, and so the formative assessments are to tell the student and the teacher what the student is understanding and what still needs some more work. And after they've done the several formative assessments, then they take a summative assessment. And this is the grade that counts on the report card and ultimately on the transcript. Can you demonstrate that what you've learned?
Right. One of the big things I think is, and there's only a couple minutes, and I know that there's one more question. one of the big things I think with grading in high school that's different is you are providing a record that will go with you. It will go with you to employers. It will go with you to potential colleges. And so there are a lot of opportunities. Some students might have a tough time in 9th grade as they get their feet underneath them. But by working with other students and the teachers, I think Deering does a great job of helping kids get confident about doing school well and actually creating a strong high school transcript that will follow you when you graduate. Somebody asked really quickly, are there drawbacks to the 4x4?
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I want to say about maybe one of the drawbacks that I've ever seen is that sometimes a student really likes a teacher, loves the subject that they're in, and at the end of a semester, they've got to move on to new teachers and so sometimes they wanted to stay, you know, in what they were comfortable in, and that's understandable. But that doesn't mean that a kid can't take that teacher in another class later. But that's sometimes a drawback, that you didn't have that person necessarily all year long. But that can
Also,
be the other way,
how do
the other way.
students know how hard the classes that they're signing up for are going to be? For example, an AP class, can they preview it? How do they know that they're in the right class for their level?
Their current 8th grade teachers are going to suggest classes for, like, we'll send to the middle schools the classes that are available to freshmen, and their 8th grade teachers will help them choose which classes to select for their freshman year. And then the counselors and their current teachers, their freshman teachers and counselors will help them choose the classes for the next year.
Yes.
It's something that's really wonderful and unique about Deering is that we have, our philosophy is challenged by choice. So if you are a student who struggled in a class and your teacher thinks, oh, I really would like you to take this a regular level, but the kid is wicked psyched and wants to do the honors level, then we will allow a student to take the honors class, and we'll throw every support we can toward helping that student be successful in that class. Some of the ways that a student might take their, like for instance, their first AP class. Sometimes we advise students to take the rest of their schedule lighter options in their AP class, or to take an AP class, their first AP class in a class that they just absolutely love and maybe already have a lot of knowledge about. Like if they really loved early US history and their first AP class is going to be AP US history, that's a good sequence because they have some prior knowledge and a strong foothold. Thanks everybody for coming.
All right, thanks, Ms. Simonis. We're all set.
Great. Hopefully we will have Ms. Dame back in a minute to walk us through our next workshop.
Okay, we'll fly on to our next workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you, interpreters.
Welcome.
Next, we'll be hearing from the science department.
Who just got here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure, because this is a different format. Okay, I can still share my screen and my slideshow. So my goal is going to be to speak slowly, which is going to be a challenge considering how quickly we just went through the other sessions. First, I would like to thank people for coming tonight with all that's going on. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. Do we want to wait a minute for more attendees, or have you guys just been proceeding? Keep going? Okay. I'm Ian Mclean. I'm the cluster coordinator of the science department. If we weren't in the webinar, you would see that I have several of my colleagues here with me tonight. Kyle Davenport, who's a physical science teacher and he's our AP chemistry teacher, going to be bringing AP physics to Deering next year. Of Karen Schaibles, who teaches forensics and the various biologies and brought engineering by design to Deering last year. Sarah York is with us as well, teaches anatomy and physiology, as well as biology. And I believe Catherine Bursk is also with us, who teaches marine ecology and some others. We don't get to see them in the webinar format. The plan is to kind of share with you a little bit about the science programming at Deering High School. I hope to also talk about what the STEM endorsement opportunities look like at Deering High School, and then hopefully save some time for questions. To that end, if you're not familiar with the way Zoom works, if you look across the bottom, you can see there's a chat function. And so we've been trying to have people put their questions in the chat so that I can kind of hit those at the end of this.
Since this is a webinar, you also have Q&A.
Oh, but I don't know what that is.
Don't worry, I'll pull the questions out of there for you.
Thank you very much. And then also, welcome to the world of Zoom. If my computer freezes, or if yours does, I have to back out of this and then re-enter. So just know that that's one of those things that occasionally happens. But before I start talking about our program at all, I just want to say that you have a unique experience in Portland with school choice. You are one of the few cities in the whole state that has 3 schools to choose from. And we're fortunate to work with those people across town from time to time. And I can assure you that all 3 schools can give you an excellent education. What I'm here to do is help you understand what the block schedule means, because we're the only ones with a block schedule, and particularly what the block schedule means for science programming, because it allows you to take quite a few science courses where that interruption is not as critical to like math or world language. It really fits science well. So yeah, let me share my screen. I'm gonna pull up a presentation, and it is okay to remind me to speak slowly because the tendency is going to be to want to fly so that I can get through this.
You can speak slower.
I can, thank you. I'm going to walk through what perhaps the science program might look like for different kinds of students with regards to their level of interest in science. And actually, I'm going to jump ahead for just a second and show you that we offer, I think, 14 different science courses at this point, or will be by next year, which I would put up against any high school in the state of Maine, our size. So we have versions of earth science, biology, and chemistry and physics that would be honors or regular. We have an honors elective anatomy and physiology for students who are considering a health career. Engineering by design is a quarter-long course that we added to get at some of those engineering standards. It's a really cool course housed down in our STEM lab where we've acquired 3D printers and a Carvey tool and cutters for a vinyl cutter, all sorts of really cool stuff. The forensic science and marine ecology electives are pretty popular courses that are heterogeneously grouped, so accessible to all. The honors advanced physics is going to be AP physics is the plan for next year that we'll offer. So that doesn't happen anymore, but those are going to be paired with the AP biology and AP chemistry that allow students to sometimes get college credit while still in high school, or at least at the very least get a feel for what a college course is like. We added environmental science last year, which has been popular. And then of course, the USM and SMCC courses you can take at any of the 3 high schools. That's what we call early college. And I would just say the advantage at Deering is that with a semester schedule, that fits the college courses schedules a little bit better. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and this is kind of an example of what a student might consider doing for a program if they think they want to go into a STEM career or at the very least a STEM major. We tend to do earth science freshman year, which is common to some high schools. That's a semester-long course, and someone could pair that with a quarter-long engineering by design course to go along with other quarter-long courses that we have at Deering. You also could, I didn't put it here, if you knew you wanted to take advantage of early college courses or some AP courses that are year-long, which are going to eat up your schedule, some students will double up in biology their freshman year. Other than that, you typically take biology your sophomore year, as you can see here. And then when you get to that junior and senior year, it really kind of opens up after you've had some of those core classes, the opportunity to double up in science and take as much as you want. And we sometimes see students who have basically filled their schedule with science courses, and we see them up and down the hallway all day long, which is really nice. So there's no rhyme or reason to the order in which those are taken. Usually have had the prerequisites by the time you're a freshman or sophomore, and that's where you can really pack things in. You also, let's say you're a student who is a bit more focused on the humanities, but you know you want to make yourself attractive to colleges. You may still take earth science freshman year, biology sophomore year, one of the other physical, core physical sciences, physics or chemistry, or both. We don't make it pick one or the other. It's going to be based on your math prerequisites. And then you might choose to take a fun environmental science elective or one of the other electives. The point would just be that the district requires that you have 4 experiences in science, 1 each year, and colleges are going to be looking for that as well. If instead you maybe are thinking about a career in the military or maybe a trade school, you still have to have those 4 experiences in science. And we would tend to push you towards the earth science, biology, physics or chemistry. But I want to be really clear that we tend to work with students that, kind of pass that earth science and biology. If you know you're not going to go to college or major in science, but you still want to keep your options open, we do offer other electives that we will allow you to take in place of physics or chemistry if you have a math phobia, for example. We like to encourage you to seek out the challenges, to confront your weaknesses, but we work with any student to get you through and feel good about your competency in science. The STEM endorsement, I'm going to try to go through this quickly without speaking quickly, which is a challenge, because the first few slides here are true to all of the high schools. What I want to kind of get time to go over is kind of what the STEM endorsement looks like at Deering High School. So the STEM endorsement is a way to certify that a student has successfully engaged in a collection of STEM-focused courses and experiences. Who can participate? Really any student can participate. And this is a photo of the STEM Goes Red program at Maine Medical Center Research Institute, which is an institute I've had a relationship with for a while, where they were trying to attract students who maybe had not thought of a career in science or were first generation college aspiring students.
And let's take a moment to look at that pretty picture and slow down.
Thank you, Krista. Perhaps we are not going to get through a lot of this. So as I was saying, any student can attempt to earn the STEM endorsement. And by any student, I mean whether you are aspiring honors student or a college prep student, or you're a freshman or sophomore, there is no barrier to who can participate. The only thing I would point out is that by the start of senior year, in order to be considered on track for the endorsement, you have to have earned at least 16 STEM credit hours and logged around 20 hours of additional STEM experiences, which I'd like to get to in this slideshow. Why participate? This is another shot of a different group I brought, the Maine Medical Center Research Institute, because it could be that you want to explore a chance or explore interests in STEM beyond the traditional classroom. It may inspire you or your student to focus on a particular aspect of STEM. So that Research Institute is a way to find out that, maybe you want to go into medicine, but you don't like hospitals and you don't necessarily want to work with patients. You want to maybe do research. And so that's an opportunity to explore what that research could look like. It shows colleges and or employers that your student has gone above and beyond what is required to graduate. And your student will earn recognition at our senior awards assembly and receive a STEM stamp on their diploma. What is required? Before I move past this slide, this is an ELO or extended learning opportunity that one of our chemistry teachers, Mr. Davenport, put together. It's a coffee cupping. So we worked with Coffee by Design, who was generous with their coffees to have students explore the chemistry of coffee, which is a kind of cool way to look at chemistry but enjoy some really tasty coffee. The requirements are 20 credits in STEM courses, pre-calculus competency. You've tried at least one STEM early college course or STEM AP course. And again, we work with you to figure out which of those is going to be the best fit. I can't remember if it was this workshop or the previous one where I was mentioning there are AP courses that you can take that if you get a score of a 3, like AP Bio, it'll get you 9 credits at University of Southern Maine. So that would be a situation where I would steer a student towards the AP course rather than the early college course. On the other hand, if you aspire to go to Bowdoin, there are some schools, for example, that don't accept any AP credit at all. And so if you want to get some college credit, we would steer you towards that early college course instead. So we try to work with students to figure out what is the best fit. And then finally, you need 50 hours of STEM learning beyond the classroom. How are we doing on time? We're at 7:48. So the requirements are the same at all 3 high schools. So nothing I've told you so far would be different at any of the other schools. So how do most students earn their 50 hours at Deering? Most students are going to get those 30 hours by participating in Learning Center ELO opportunities, which we offer from time to time. The math team is a common way to get some of those hours. I'm going to show you a picture of the Sea Perch team in a moment. There are community offerings found through Google Classroom. And I have to say the community really has stepped up this year where we are remote in providing opportunities, all remotely. And then there are summer STEM programs, which our STEM coordinator may work with you to help you find the best fit. A lot of students do their own research and find a good fit and then share with us what they did. But I really need to probably point out that you have 4 years to do this. Otherwise, 50 hours sounds like a lot. And then many students earn their remaining 20 hours with a STEM-related senior capstone. So the senior capstone is a requirement at the district level. And so you're already spending time, significant time on a capstone. And so we work to make sure that the capstone you choose has enough STEM or science in it to qualify and get you those 20 hours. Here, maybe I don't have to talk, so I'm still going to talk. This is the Sea Perch program. They were making underwater robots in our STEM lab. And one year, I think they paired with, I forget which university, usually Mrs. Schaibles presents this part, but they were able to pair with another entity and they helped with some resources. We've done the Cyber Girls Challenge where they worked on cybersecurity, and I think our claim to fame there is that we had more students participate than any other high school, as well as a pairing with UNE, the health pipeline, which works with girls specifically in STEM careers. And that professor actually comes into the building and works with our students, works with several different students. This was the Jackson Lab open house. A lot of students don't realize that one of the premier biology labs in the world is right here in Maine. Not really right around the corner, but it's up in Booth Bay. But Mrs. Schaibles was fortunate to take this lovely group up there to hear about, again, a little bit of research. And then there's things like the Rubik's Cube Challenge, which was, those are actually all Rubik's Cubes, which is a fair amount of algorithms that go into solving those, which students put together to make that image. We are proud to say that we are the only high school in the city that has had students participate in the Maine State Science Fair. And these young students worked with that same professor as before, did some fascinating research with dogs and canine satiation, and whether they have a gene to feel full or just keep on eating, but they won an award for that. There are thousands of dollars of scholarships each year that are given to students through the Maine State Science Fair, and these two young ladies got some money out of that. And then speaking of awards, the student there to the right is our very own Aiden Bloom, one of our seniors who won an award in the Maine App Challenge, which is something that happens each year. And I think he did this and he let Mrs. Schaibles know after the fact, and we were able to go back and get him credit towards his STEM endorsement. And that really is it. So I wanted to make sure we had time for any questions. I apologize for speaking quickly, and this is about as slow as anyone's ever heard me talk. So have there been any questions? I'm going to stop sharing here. Actually, my cursor doesn't work anymore once I'm doing this.
No questions yet.
No questions. Well, with that, folks. Yeah, sorry, Dr. Med, I can't see the chat during that. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. If there are no questions, I'm going to I'll sit here for a bit.
You have a question that says, "Thank you very much."
Thank you.
This was the last workshop. So next, it'll be just a Q&A that is optional with the co-principals, which is Dr. Ahmed and Miss Dame, or a chance to connect with coaches and club leaders for some co-curricular events. So we're looking for Mr. Daly and Miss Dame for that, as well as, of course, Dr. Ahmed, who has been here translating for us. And we will hopefully have them soon, but in the meantime, if you have questions, please type them in.
I'm back, everyone. Okay, hello folks. At this point, Dr. Ahmed and I would like to open ourselves up to any question you may have. And you can put it in the Q&A. At this point, we have no questions. Please don't be shy. Comments are also welcome. We'll hang around until at least 8:05. Great. In case people are still making their way over. So our first question, what type of sports do you have? I'm going to quickly be trying to find the athletics webpage to post it, but we have sorry. Okay, so I'm hoping everyone can see that link, but I'll just go with winter sports since we're in winter. So we have girls and boys basketball, girls and boys ice hockey, which is a co-op with Portland, girls and boys indoor track and field, girls and boys Nordic ski, ice hockey, sorry, I mentioned that before, boys and girls swimming, unified basketball, which is where our students with intellectual disabilities work together with typical peers on a team, and then cheerleading and wrestling. Yeah, and you can, certainly check out our athletics page for all the season sports. And Mr. Daly is actually currently available over at his workshop link if you want to talk to him.
You still have you.
Yes, okay, so the next question is about the student, what used to be called student step-up days, where students from each middle school would have a chance to go to all 3 high schools and actually meet teachers, principals, students, and talk to them and actually see the buildings. So of course that's not possible this year, but there will be a virtual day. So each school will have a day where we're projecting a webinar to all the 8th grade students. And I'm sorry, I don't have the dates memorized, but it's coming up later this month. And so students will have a chance. Students are also working in their advisories in middle school on like some guidance around what questions to ask and what to expect in high school and things like that. Oh, I'm sorry, Remote Academy. Yes, they'll get the same webinar. Yep. Why does Deering not use uniforms? We've never considered using uniforms. Well, I think it would be an expense and not popular. Uniforms sometimes are lifted up as a thing to provide equity because everyone looks the same, and that's taken off people's like sort of mental plate to think about like, do I look cool or whatever. But it's not something Portland Public Schools has ever seriously considered, in my opinion, because again, there is a cost and it wouldn't be very popular in this moment. Certainly something you could bring to the school board. There's opinions on both sides. Someone seems to have their hand raised. Okay, well, we're certainly willing to stick around a couple more minutes. Interpreters, if you'd like to get some rest, please feel free. But more than anything, we just really want to thank everyone for coming tonight and encourage you to reach out if any questions occur to you or you have follow-up questions about Deering. And we wish you very good luck in your high school search. We're super privileged to live in a city with 3 terrific options. So proud to work alongside our colleagues at Portland and Casco.
And we have a question about independent learning projects like in your junior or senior year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we have a process for doing independent studies. Each year we receive several like really super creative projects. Just this week, Dr. Med and I received an email from a student with a real passion for graphic design and urban design around designing crosswalks near Deering to reflect our values around Black Lives Matter and advocacy for LGBTQ plus groups as well as other causes. So we're exploring if that's even possible, but that just gives you an idea of the type of ideas that Deering High Schools bring to us, and we're so happy to entertain them. We also, as was mentioned, we partner with our local colleges to expand, the offerings of our courses. So that really creates just a lot of options, from astronomy to, pre-med to as other languages. I could go on and on, with how much that expands. And then finally, I would mention Capstone. So every senior completes a Capstone, and that basically is an independent learning project. And they work with their advisor to design something where they can explore their own passion and or maybe do a service project to give back. And so they really run the gamut. So several different ways, but we're always open to that kind of ingenuity with our students. Good question. Okay, so Erica's asking, are there any ripple effect style retreats offered for entire grades like at Casco Bay High School. No, so we're not an expeditionary learning school. Certainly we have, through our advisory, we have like grade level celebrations or rallies. There's ways in which we build that community across the grade level. And we do have, I will say, an outdoor club that does very adventurous things. They were camping in some really cold weather last year. No, I'm frankly, I'm jealous of that kind of work that Casco Bay does. But the other thing I would add, and it came up, a student asked a question in one of our workshops, can you make your own clubs? And the answer is like, absolutely yes. So we do have students who have like floated clubs that do have that kind of exploration aspect, but it's not around the grade, it's just organized by interest. Yeah, we do have military recruiters. Gosh, I don't have it memorized, but there's a certain amount that they come in and they're available for chat, but not overly aggressive in their promotion. Yep, so students do have advisory twice a week. And absolutely, one of the major emphasis is on community building. We want students both to feel a sense of a home base, a peer community that really knows them as a full person, an adult that knows them as a full person. You'll hear from your advisor, whether your student's doing well or poorly or in the middle, you'll hear from your advisor once a month. So there's that connection with families, a touch point for families to have. But advisory is more than just that type of community building. It's also a place where students actually design and lead and facilitate discussions around the topics that are most important and relevant to them. We're just embarking in January on 3 discussions that have been designed by some of our upper class student leaders around race and equity. So it's a place to take on those engaging, relevant issues that kids are most interested in talking about with one another. And it's also a place where we do service projects, and there's a reason for that. We want students to feel valued as their whole human self and known. So there's times to talk in community circles about anything that might be on their mind or in their life. But we also want them to feel valued because of the impact they can have on the community. So we intentionally build in spaces where they can really see themselves making a difference in the community around them. We try to cap advisories around 15 students, and they'll stick with that group through high school. Okay, seeing no more questions, I may wrap us up here. But I just want to reiterate again how grateful we are that you made the time to come and learn more about Deering tonight. And oh yes, absolutely. So I'll be sending out the presentation to the same email group that I sent the agenda to last night. So if you receive that, you'll be all set, you'll get it. If for any reason you didn't, email me directly to make sure you get it. All right, thanks all very much. And a special thanks to the interpreters as always. You guys rock. We really appreciate you.